What's up, everybody? I'm Jamie. This is the Blades and EDC channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little overview of the Twosun TS291, but I think I finally it answered a question about the TS21 for me. This is a knife I got from Zachariah Ott on Instagram, Zachariah OTT. It goes by Raya. This is a knife in on loan from Saigon Kick 2018, Craig on Instagram. Since I got this from Zachariah, the TS21, I've been curious about who the designer is. There's no maker's mark on it, and I've looked online, can't find anything about who designed the knife. Well, the TS291 is designed by Wiha, and putting these two next to each other, I'm pretty sure Wiha designed the TS21 now. There's a lot of similarities in the way the knives are shaped. Obviously, there's much more intricate milling and grinding on the TS291 than the TS21. But when you look at the overall shape, the way the lanyard's done, the way the handles are done, the way the lock bar's done, I'm pretty sure Wiha designed the TS21 also. Just a guess, but I'm pretty sure he's the guy that designed this. So, all right, let's talk about the TS291. This is what I would call a futuristic looking knife with all this cutouts in the titanium and all the milling edges. These milling edges actually serve a purpose though, for grip. When you hold this knife, you feel those. They help you hold it, and they feel actually pretty good. They're not sharp or anything. They feel like they give you a little extra grip on your fingers right here, which is good, really good. It's like jimping, but it's not jimping. So similar to jimping, I think it's meant to serve the same purpose. The rest of this, I don't think it's done for weight reduction. I think it's done for aesthetics, but you have the benefit of weight reduction because this is nearly a 5-ounce knife, so it's a big knife too. Blade steel is 14C28N. You have a hollow grind on this cutting edge, and out the tip here you have a flat grind. And the flat grind it looks like a hand rubbed satin finish, and this is definitely a belt satin finish on this hollow. And this thing is super thin behind the edge, and it has a mirror edge on it. Now, from my understanding, Craig, if you watch this, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, you haven't used this knife, and this comes from the factory with this mirror edge. When I say mirror edge, it has a mirror edge on it. This thing's a razor blade. Got a swedge on the top of the blade here. This one would be great for slicing and for piercing. And that stopping that hollow grind there makes this tip much stronger with this flat up here. And then you have horizontal grind lines on these flats, and then back to vertical on the swedge. Very cool looking blade. A lot of time went into grinding this blade. A lot of time and effort went into this. And whoever did it did a fantastic job. A lot of time and effort also went into these handles, designing them and then milling them out. Now I know a CNC machine milled this, but still, you know, this took some work and some effort. Got a nice lanyard hole back here. Personally, I'm not into lanyards, but if you are, you've got one. Here's the shocker on this knife. Look at all this work in this knife. I'm going to give you a close-up here. Just look at the milling that's done to that titanium and the grinds that were done to that blade and the polish that was put on the edge. And then, how much do you think this knife costs? $77. It's just mind-blowing. Mind-blowing that this is a $77 knife. Now, this isn't really the aesthetic of a knife that I like, but I can appreciate what went into this knife to make this knife. And when I look up the price for this knife and it's $77, I'm just mind-blown. Literally mind-blown. It's hard to even understand it. All right, let me give you some size comparisons real quick so you can see exactly how big this knife is. First up, we'll do the pair 3. Much longer than the pair 3. And then the Yojimbo 2. Again, much longer than the Yojimbo 2. And we'll go ahead and pull in some other small, or even smaller knives. We'll do the same ones we always do. Same one we always do, the parrot, or the penguin, excuse me. Got parrot on mine. Just packaging one up, ship it out from the contest winner. And then one that I currently have, but we'll be sending back. This is Saigon Kick's bug out also. Be sending back to him shortly. So, long knife. All right, let me tell you what the specs are on it real quick. The overall length is 8.35 inches. Closed length is 4.65 inches. Blade length is 3.5 inches. 14C28N, titanium handles. Frame lock, designed by Wiha. Claim weight is 4.69 ounces. Let's check that and see if that is true. Great action too. Fantastic detent on this knife. I'll show you that in just a second. It's got a pretty strong detent, but for a flipper only, it's perfect. This blade just flies out. Let's zero those out real quick. 4.5, 4.6. Jumped up to 4.6 there. Yeah, 4.6. So accurate on the weight. I'm noticing a lot of Twosuns are pretty accurate. But let's check out this detent real quick. Listen, watch this thing. I'm gonna try to pull it out as slow as I can. When that detent, it pops. It's a strong detent, which for like a front flipper you wouldn't want that, but for this flipper, and the jimping on the flipper is really good too. For this flipper, you want that, and for a heavier knife, stronger detent is good also. Yeah. Great drop. It does have a detent ramp, so you know, but once you pass that ramp, it's closing. It's coming down on its own. You don't even have to help it. Just let gravity take its course. Doesn't have a very sensitive lock bar either, because I've noticed many times I've got my fingers on the lock bar and it still deploys out fine. No issues at all. Closes fine with pressure on the lock bar. Very interesting knife here. Very cool design. Again, not my cup of tea aesthetics wise, but man, also the pocket clip, it works great, works fantastic. I was worried about the lock bar cutout there, maybe catching my pants. Doesn't. Or this milling right here rubbing my pants. It's not causing an issue at all. It goes in and out of the pocket perfectly well. No issues at all. Very well done. Very springy pocket clip too for a milled titanium. You can see it's actually got a little flex in it here because of how thin they milled it out, and with the holes in there and the milling in there. So it's very flexible for a milled titanium clip. Works fantastic. I wish more companies would go thin like this. Look how thin that pocket clip is. Super thin. And then even thinner than that when you consider the milling in these areas here. It's even thinner than it appears from the side there. Yeah, very cool knife. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this one. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much. Hit that like button for me. Help us beat the algorithm so the videos get recommended to other people. Subscribe if you're new. Turn notifications on. Stay tuned because there's lots of cool things coming. And I will see you guys on the next one.